Peter and Zach are not experts, and everything they say should be taken with at least 1 grain of salt. Please keep your ears engaged throughout the whole podcast to prevent rampant confusion. Now, brace your mind for impact. Love of the Sun came back again to make it clear that he never said it would need demand. Shame on a martyr claim.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Friends in Theory, episode 5. We're here for another dose of weekly sciencey goodness applied directly into your ear holes. I'm Zach Baru, host number 1.
Number 2, best host, top host, Peter Batstone.
We'll have a vote.
I'm going to space.
You're going to
and
space?
Zach, do you know who's coming with me?
Not me.
Apart from the itinerary we have for our space party, Stephen Hawking has been approached by Richard Branson, and he said, Stephen, do you want to go into space? And Stephen says, you already know I want to go into space. I made that publicly obvious a few years ago. So yes, please. So Stephen Hawking will be going into space at some point with Virgin Galactic, which is cool. But here's the thing. I haven't heard anything about Virgin Galactic since like 2009. And they weren't doing all so
Elon
great.
Musk recently, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, he's actually been doing things, is the difference.
I mean, yeah, Elon Musk has his rocket and stuff. Branson needs to catch up. So Stephen Hawking has hedged his bet on the Branson mission.
I don't think it's that. I think, it wasn't so much him placing his bets. It was more like, if someone asked you, do you want to go into space? I'm building a spaceship. I'd probably say yes, but that's not me.
Yeah, fair.
He didn't approach them and was like, hey, do you reckon you could ask me to go into space?
Yeah. Fair. Good to know.
It is. It's cool.
I'll tell you what else has been happening this week.
Please do.
Absolute chaos in the world of paleontology. There has been uproar, riots in the streets of the paleontology department.
Yeah? Is it like Jurassic Park 2? Actually, that's not right. It's that a T-Rex gets out.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Sorry everyone. So there's been a paper that has suggested changes to the evolutionary tree of dinosaurs. That has changed, has completely reversed ideas that we've held for like over 100 years.
Wait, reversed is an interesting way of describing it. So birds were like, I need to be a big land lizard now.
Maybe that's not
the
quite...
the big land lizard turned into a rat.
Not quite what I meant. So there's been an analysis of anatomy which has suggested changes. They took sort of data from loads and loads of anatomical features and put together a new idea for the tree of how dinosaurs... So I'll give you a very brief rundown, right? The old idea was that you had 2 main branches that separated from each other and diverged in terms of evolution. On one branch was a group called Ornithischia, which is known as the bird-hipped dinosaurs. Because bird-hipped is based on how, like, the shape and arrangement of their hip. And in that group, you have things like...
it's in the name. Does that mean birds came from the bird-hipped dinosaurs?
No. Which is... Right, it's really weird. So in Ornithischia, the bird-hipped dinosaurs, you have your things like Stegosaurus, Triceratops, Hadrosaurs, things like that.
Okay.
On the other side of the tree, in the branch that diverges from that, you've got Saurischia, which are the lizard hips, which includes modern birds because it's a bit weird. And a bit confusing. Saurischia is then like broken up into the main groups of sauropods, so like your Diplodocus and that sort of thing, and also theropods, your Tyrannosaurus and those type of things, and theropods are like the link to modern birds, basically.
Okay.
So that was what we used to think. And some people probably still do think there's going to be a lot of discussion about this.
Well, Zach, hips don't lie.
Well, Pete, that is a good joke that I wish I had come up with for this section. Now, the new tree idea that this has been suggested is that ornithischians, the bird hips, are on a branch with theropods, lizard hips.
Okay.
Whereas sauropods, the other lizard hips, are on a branch with another group called Herrerasauridae, which are a bit weird and hard to define. Some people have been saying that they're not even really dinosaurs. So now you've got the actual shape of the hips and the build of the hips spread across the tree, things that were formerly considered distant cousins now very closely related. And yeah, so the Ornithischia, the bird hips, were thought to be an early sort of group that split early. Now they could be a much later sort of branch that appears. They were described in an article I read as late to the party veggie weirdos.
Mm-hmm. So that's nice and sciencey.
Yeah. Basically, the lesson to take away from this maybe is that the dinosaur grouping probably isn't based on like big radical features, but rather on very small distinctions between the groups. So yeah, all those dinosaur books you've got at the moment, just burn them or throw them away. They're useless.
Yeah, the hips don't lie, but you shouldn't be focusing on the hips.
Yeah.
There's more. Yeah. There's more to me than just my hips, okay?
Yeah. So there you go.
Right. Zach, I have a very important question to ask you.
What is it?
Are you getting married anytime soon? I'm asking for a friend.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, well, if you do, I have some good advice for you.
Wow.
And that's have sex once every 2 days.
Okay. I will bear that in mind. Specifically, only if you're married. Are you not allowed to do it otherwise?
Well, this is the thing, right? This study, published in Psychological Sciences, which some people may be considered an oxymoron, but not to me. Not to me. This is legit. It was done properly.
Yeah, psychology's good
all
stuff.
You psychology haters. I'm not saying all of it's perfect, but when it's done right, it's just as good as any.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this was a study from Florida State University, and they discovered that newlywed couples experienced a 48-hour afterglow period after sex that helps them bond over time, but only with what is defined as higher levels of sexual satisfaction on a scale from 1 to 7.
Okay, well, my first question is, who uses a scale from 1 to 7?
Florida State University. Apparently.
That's my first
issue.
Yeah, I mean,
it's an odd one, but I guess
so it's a bit like just keeping it on cooldown, you know, like
yeah, and it's got to be good as well. So I'm not sure if that's actually helpful advice to give. Is if you're going to have sex, make it good sex. But here's the dealio. What they did was they measured marriage quality in 3 ways before and after 6 months after keeping a sex diary.
Right.
And they found that sex was linked with satisfaction and improvement of quality.
Okay.
But the satisfaction lasted for the day and the day after.
So there
you go.
You think that having to keep a diary affects sexual satisfaction? Because like it's not something that automatically sort of that springs out to me as particularly sexy, like a diary.
Well, I mean, I was trying to sort of think about this, and it's not like they just pull out a book once they're done, and they're just like, "Dear diary."
Oh, that's how I was
Today I
imagining.
had sex. And it was probably, much more
like with a little padlock on it.
No, I was gonna say much more, clinical, where it'd be like,
right, yeah. I guess that makes
1900
sense.
hours. Just made intercourse with wife. 7 out of 7.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I don't know. I mean,
nope.
Yeah, I can imagine it did, but they got their varied responses and
so
enough data to
basically,
draw a conclusion like that. So it worked.
Having sex more than once in 2 days is excessive, And
don't do it ever.
Yeah. No one.
Well, yeah. This is the thing. You know, you can only take away points from the study that it directly covers. You know, it's like the you should eat 5 fruit and veg a day. Why stop at 5? Sort of logic.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. Maybe. But if you want better bond over time and higher marriage quality, have good sex once every 2 days.
Wow, we're really good at this sort of advice on this podcast.
We really are. I feel like if we took our own advice, we would die. Moving on.
What are you going to bring to the table this week, Pete?
Well, Zach, to get what I want on the table, we need to go deep into the blackness of space.
Okay. With Stephen Hawking.
Imagine we're out there, and
I'm imagining it.
It's really dark. It's really black.
Yeah.
And I point out and I say, "Hey, Zach, what's that?" And I'm pointing at something really black.
I guess it would be like, I just got it. Like a black hole, obviously.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of the time black holes have got stuff swirling around them, but
yeah,
it's always something sort of really odd to think about. And I feel like the name is almost a bit misleading. For a while, I thought they were just like balls of extreme mass, but the definition is this is a sort of mixed definition from, say, like NASA and some other sources,
right.
But it's like a region of space-time where nothing, not even light, can escape, and it's incredibly dense and cannot be directly observed. And so the only way we can really see black holes is, you know, we have to look at gravity distortions around them.
Yeah.
We have to use really sensitive equipment to read high energy light and radiation emissions from the black holes, because most black holes, you know, aren't finished. They're usually in the process of destroying something or have something orbiting them.
Yeah, like we can only...
It's not like we can just go out and weigh them.
We can only like tell where they are because of their effect on stuff around them, can't we?
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing something...
Everything that goes near them gets sucked in and destroyed.
I remember seeing something about how they were searching for black holes using telescopes, and like the way they were doing it is by hoping to record the exact moment where like a black hole passed in front of a star from our perspective.
Yeah.
So like you see a little
like
blip or something. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely mind-boggling. Like, to imagine that there are just these things which, essentially, when you go near them, the universe, as we know it, stops working how we think it should work.
Physics.exe has stopped responding.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's one of those things where I start thinking about it for 5 seconds, and then my brain says, "Let's move on."
Yeah. But we're gonna hit it head on this week, are we? What have you?
We are. I'm gonna talk about my favorite black holes and where you can find them.
Okay.
So, Zach, what's in the middle of our galaxy?
Well, is it by any chance a black hole? Is it?
Yeah.
The sun?
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. You would be able to guess that.
Supermassive black hole.
It is. It's where Muse wrote their song.
Yeah.
Supermassive black hole. No. A supermassive black hole is like defined as the largest black holes, and it's when not just the sun collapses, but a whole bunch of stuff gets involved in the creation of it, and they take incomprehensible amounts of time to form.
Yeah,
we're talking millions of years.
Yeah.
So we've got one. So we were talking about TRAPPIST-1. And we were like, TRAPPIST-1 is really far away. It's 39 light years away. I couldn't run that far.
Yeah.
Our friend the black hole, which is called Sagittarius A star, is between 25,000 and 28,000 light years away.
Yeah, that's pretty far. It does put into context like TRAPPIST-1 and the rest of the galaxy.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that's not even something in a different galaxy. And there's loads of galaxies.
Yeah, there's
space is big.
There's loads of them. I think
it was Brian Cox who famously said space is big.
Yeah, sounds like one of his.
Yeah. So Sagittarius A star did very well in its GCSEs and was discovered by Carl Janksy in 1974. And again, it was discovered through observing the star movements around the black hole.
Sorry, that one really got me.
I'm glad. But not all stars are very big. There are tiny black holes. NASA says the smallest black hole may be as large as just one atom, and it has like the mass of a large mountain. But so you're thinking like, okay, but that's smaller than a planet. But the point is, it's so dense, it just breaks reality around it. And these black holes can't form anymore. The theory is they formed when the universe was created. No more small black holes will form, so don't worry about one drifting into us.
All right.
So I want to talk about how big these bad boys are.
I want to hear.
So Zach, I'm just gonna go through some math. So everyone, engage your math brain because this is gonna get intense.
Yeah.
So Zach, what's the heaviest thing you can lift? How much do you think you can lift?
I guess like
in kilograms, please.
Like a full trilogy copy of Lord of the Rings.
Okay,
probably.
Yeah. So what's that? Like 50 kilograms, probably.
yeah, probably something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Earth is 5.972 times 10 to the power of 24 kilograms. So neither of us can lift that. My dad might be able to.
Like,
he's pretty strong.
Yeah, that's like a full saga copy of like Game of Thrones or something we're talking about there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, A Song of Ice and Fire, please.
Oh, yes.
No hate.
Damn it.
Please leave all hate in the comments below after liking and subscribing.
Yeah.
So our sun is 332,946 times massier, heavier than the Earth.
How could you say that about our sun?
Oh man, yeah, sorry. There'll be no celestial body shaming. And this, the mass of our sun therefore is 1.99 times 10 to the power of 30 kilograms, and that is called one solar mass unit.
Right. Because at that point the numbers just
this
get
is how
too dumb.
Yeah, and this is how we start talking about black holes.
Is in terms of how many like of our sun you would have to stack up in a big pile.
And then compress.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. So, the nearest black hole has a really good name. A0620-00, open brackets, V616 monocerotis, close brackets.
Oof.
That's a good name.
I think I know someone with that name.
Yeah, it's surprisingly common.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting one because it's a binary star in a black hole. In orbit. I'm not sure of each other. But that's 3,000 light years away.
3,000.
And the star...
That doesn't sound far enough away.
We'll get to that. And so the star is quite small. It's only 0.5 solar mass. What is theorized to be the black hole has approximately 11 solar mass, which is crazy.
Okay, yeah.
So, going back to Sagittarius, how many suns do you think Sagittarius A star is?
We're talking big boy star. I reckon it's like 40 suns.
I mean, close.
Yeah?
4.1 million
Oh.
solar mass.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's 4.1... So this star is 4.1 million times massier than our sun.
Yeah, it has 4.1 million times as much mass.
Yeah.
Are
we using? I think we're using Massier now. Like I'm just going to
Massier. Yeah. Make it legit. Oxford Dictionary. I hope you're listening.
I think it's legit. I don't know. Maybe not. 4.1 million.
Well, it's a lot. And our black hole, our signature black hole, isn't even the best black hole.
No.
Because I would like to talk about the biggest black hole now.
The biggest one we've recorded.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't got all of the universe on lockdown yet. So this is the biggest one we found.
Almost there.
And again, it has a really nice name. S5 space 0014 plus 81 Blazar, because it is a blazar. Which
that is a good name.
It is. So, a blazar is a very compact quasar with a presumed black hole in the middle. So a quasar is an exploding sun.
Right, yeah.
Is it? No, that's a supernova.
No, yeah. Quasar is something else. I don't...
It's like a big disk of stuff.
Okay. Is it like spinning celestial dust?
Yeah, so this is a massive disk, and there's two big old spirals going into the middle of this disk, and there is, as we understand it, a colossal black hole in the middle. And so, no need to worry, it's 1.2 times 10 to the power of 10 light years away, so don't even think about it.
All right. That's quite far.
Because even if we were travelling at the speed of light, I don't know, the universe would probably end by then.
Yeah.
So, it's just to put things into perspective, in our Earth years, it sucks up approximately 4,000 solar masses of material into it. And it generates an incredible amount of energy. Would you care to guess how much energy compared to the sun?
Well, I maybe like a billion times.
Yeah, I mean, pretty good. 300 trillion times more energy.
Oh my god.
So, it was something like, it could be, you know, a fraction of the distance and still provide the same amount of energy we get from our sun.
Yeah. Stuff
like that. And if we were as close to it as we are to our sun, we wouldn't even know because we would have died ages before then.
Yeah.
So 25,000 times more energy than all of the stars in the Milky Way.
Jesus.
It's this thing is ridiculous.
I mean, is this like the most? Would this be like the massiest thing in the known universe? Or I mean,
I guess so,
because there isn't much
massier than a black hole.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I think there is a little bit of contention regarding this black hole, but as it stands, it is very clearly just the biggest boy in the universe.
Oh my god! Yeah, I am sort of surprised it's not just called like the big one or something.
Yeah, Biggie,
because there's nothing bigger. Like
there's no biggest.
There's just literally nothing bigger. If this is to be taken. That's truth.
Yeah, but so solar mass, it's 10,000 times bigger than Sagittarius A star,
right?
And approximately 40 billion solar mass.
That's intense.
Completely incomprehensible. just try and imagine 40 billion suns.
I can barely imagine 40.
Yeah, you'll just be looking at a big glowing cube, probably.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous how this happens. Who let this happen? Huh?
Yeah, it's just, I mean,
and then there's so much we don't understand, and also the whole tearing of fabric of reality is interesting too.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting.
To answer your question, are we in danger? NASA says no. And I'm still inclined to believe NASA most of the time. Apart from the moon landing, which I think is still in question.
Yeah, I mean, NASA, I'm pretty convinced NASA are like a secret cult of black hole sympathizers.
Exactly, yeah, so we're not sure if they can be trusted.
They're luring us in, yeah. After what they pulled with Pluto.
Exactly, unacceptable. No black hole is close enough to ever affect us and will not get close enough. Because there's this idea of black holes sort of just like roaming around, sucking stuff up. They don't. I mean, in a way, they still obey the same laws of gravity, so they're all just sort of being flung out and spiraling away.
Yeah.
So, that probably won't happen.
That's good to know.
And if it did, then God knows how far away in the future it would be.
I mean, as long as we can get to the end of the current Star Wars trilogy, I'm probably fine.
Yeah, then we can let the black hole in.
Yeah.
But also, our sun doesn't pose any risk of turning into a black hole. And this is something I never considered. Even if it did, it would have the same mass, so we would just continue to orbit it. That's what NASA says. And I guess so, you know? Like,
yeah, that's...
that's of course if we survived, I don't know, the expansion and the explosion. But, but that's physics.
Yeah.
Because black holes don't have, like, a special, like, suction power. It's still just gravity, but just incomprehensible amounts of it. But our sun isn't big enough to turn into a black hole.
Our sun's a nice sort of... It's a nightlight, basically. I mean, ironically... in some
Yeah,
ways.
it's like if you're being used at the scale to compare bigger things, then you're probably not big enough.
Yeah. I mean, it's all right for us.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Black holes are pretty crazy. Like, it's something that everyone sort of knows about. Like, everyone knows that black holes are a thing, but, like, I think most people think of them as more, like, science fiction than anything else, even though they know that they're real.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know what happens when you get to, like, the event horizon of a black hole. That's when stuff gets stretched out so far it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, maybe it's like Interstellar.
We don't know what happens I guess what happens when you go through a black hole or you get into a black hole, because how would we know?
You meet Matthew McConaughey.
Nice.
So I'm up for it, to be honest. He's a cool guy. All right.
Weak and strong and wet and dry and right.
Hi everyone, biggest boy in the universe here. I hope you are enjoying this episode of Friends in Theory, and we would, as always, love to invite you to get in touch with us. That didn't really make sense. Anyway, you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes as Friends in Theory, and the same on Twitter with the handle @the_fatcast with a capital F, T, and C. Please contact us. Please do it. Please. If you have any feedback at all, even if you just want to say I hate your podcast and I think it should stop, we want to hear it. And any questions, of course, and you can really help us improve the podcast through this. Of course, please rate our podcast if you find us deserving, and if you think you know someone else who would enjoy this nonsense, please share it with them. It's our best way of getting out there. Thanks again. I'll leave you alone.
Don't deny it. Leave if you can't stand the thought of it.
Zach,
Yeah.
when are you going to lend me Horizon Zero Dawn?
Like, probably when I finish it in about 30 years or something. Yeah.
Okay, I think I can wait.
Yeah.
That's very kind of you.
Yeah. Well, it's because, like, if I was actually, like, a good friend, I probably would lend it to you sooner. Which is...
Okay, great.
I mean, this segue into what I'm going to talk about.
Well, I was going to say that's one of the shorter discussion sections we've had.
Yeah. Pete, do you have any friends?
I'm not sure. This is a question I have to ask myself daily. Yeah. If you're out there, please talk to me.
Friends in theory, what actually means is theory of friends. We're either...
I gave up everything to make this podcast.
Yeah.
Its initial title was Friends or Theory.
I thought that we were a, like, Friends, the sitcom, like, fan theory discussion podcast.
Yeah, so does YouTube.
Anyway, I'm going to talk about friendship. Friendship. How do you feel about friendship? Friendship's pretty good in my eyes.
I'm a fan. I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's not quite as good as having an enemy, but
yeah,
it has its benefits.
If you have friends like these, who needs enemies, though? Is that the thing, or did I get it wrong?
With friends like these, who needs enemies?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Friendship
But
is, as they say,
that's
magic.
more about having shitty friends.
Well,
I think.
Friends... Wow, this has been such a great intro.
We've got this. Just go.
Friendship.
It's too late now.
Friendship. Would you say that friendship is a thing that only happens in humans?
No.
Yes. Well, that's something that's been discussed quite a lot, funnily enough. Certainly friendship is something that we think of as being quite different in humans than from other species, I guess. You know, like friends in humans kind of, we don't think of it about, you know, being all about taking care of each other's children and
I guess we used
passing
to.
on genetics and things like that. It's not purely evolutionary. Friendship in humans is something that is, I guess we don't think to define it in terms of science. I mean, most people would say that friends are just like people that you like to hang out with, right?
Oh, is that what it's meant to be? Whoops.
Yeah.
That might explain it. No, it must be like emotions where you get your own working definition.
Yeah.
Going. What works for you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we are making friendship sound sort of very clinical and cynical.
Yeah, well, that's not our goal here on Friends in Theory. Obviously, friendship is a magical thing. It's something that actually does happen in other animals than humans,
and other people,
and other people. Friendship possibly has its origins far back in our evolutionary history. Indeed, there's been many studies on friendship, or what we'd call like social ecology, maybe even altruism in the animal kingdom. Altruism being, doing something that has no possible benefit for yourself. That's been a very interesting topic that people have discussed in terms of evolution, because why would you ever do that if everything about you is tuned to passing on your own genetics?
Yeah, but that's such like a sciencey way of looking at it, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
because some people will just be looking at it and going like, "Well, that's the right thing to do." But in the book I read, The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins, which is a good book.
It's a good book,
even if he doesn't like it anymore. I think it's still good.
Yeah.
And it is this theory of, if everything that ever happened in the history of evolution was to make us more selfish and to survive better, then what's the selfish reason for being altruistic?
Yeah, a lot of things that, a lot of study related to this type of thing is based around that question. A lot of the discussion is more rooted in, actually, is altruism even a thing? Does it even exist? You could say that amongst humans, people have the capability to do something completely selflessly, rather, to help out someone else. But is there always some kind of, underlying motivation, even if it's subconscious, that makes you want to do those things? Even if it was just as simple as actually helping other people makes you feel good, which is why you're doing it. Does that mean it's not altruism? And it gets even more complicated when you're talking about animals, because obviously we can't get inside an animal's head and sort of hear what it's thinking, or even if it is thinking about it.
Well, I guess the easiest ones to observe are like chimps, and stuff like that, because they're very social, and you do kind of see it in them, I guess.
Generally, social sort of interactions are more complex in species with bigger brains. A bigger brain allows you to sustain a larger number of relationships at a single time. That's one thing that people thought. But friendship can be sort of seen in quite a few species: horses, elephants, hyenas, dolphins, monkeys, chimpanzees. All of those things are species that we could observe something that we could call friendship. And you might think, is that kind of anthropomorphizing it a little bit to call it friendship? Actually, maybe not. These bonds can occur, between males and females, between two males, between two females. Often we find that the sex that doesn't sort of range or disperse is more likely to form friendships. And, it's always based on cooperative action, but crucially, it can be separated by time. So there's definitely a memory or an emotion linked with an interaction that happened in the past. So it's not like instant gratification, which is, I guess, why you could call it like a friendship relationship, because there's no assumption that by doing something you'll get instant reward.
Right.
And so, animals, probably lots of animals do have a relationship which is functionally the same as friendship in humans, which is quite nice, I think. Well, how do you feel about lots of little animals having friends? It's pretty nice.
Disgusting. No, I guess you have to a lot of the times. It's a good way of getting by.
Yeah.
And even little bugs, the social bugs like the Hymenoptera, which includes bees and ants. They help each other out.
Hymenoptera
Are they
very
friends?
special.
Maybe.
Well,
Maybe not.
I suppose maybe people are just more like likely to imagine some chimpanzees being friends than some ants being friends or something. And certainly
Have I tried befriending an ant? No.
No, I haven't.
Don't ask.
Don't know. It is true that in lots of cases we see that male allies are more successful in terms of competition and breeding, and female friends are usually less stressed, which means that their offspring have a better chance of survival, and they often live longer as well. So there you go. There's some more advice. If you want to live longer and have healthy children, just get a whole bunch of friends.
Yeah, that's actually some fairly wholesome advice for once.
Yeah.
Instead of, eat bark.
Keeping it nice and
go
nice
to
and
space.
wholesome.
Yeah, that's actually some good advice for once.
Yeah, and then it sort of comes back to, so we can observe those benefits. So does such a thing as altruism really exist? And then there's this other thing called kin selection, which is like I just described. If you sort of have a allied relationship with another creature that is related to you, by helping them, you're essentially passing on the same, you're helping to pass on the same genes that you have. So even though it's not your offspring, it's the same
Close
genes.
enough.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's basically it.
I've 50% won regardless.
And like you were talking about ants, there are, in a colony, worker ants that are sterile and don't have the capability to reproduce, but they spend their lives protecting the queen's eggs. And this is...
Hymenoptera genetics gets really weird because it tends to be like you're more related to your sister than your own children.
Yeah.
Due to the nature of it. And that's not something I want to dive...
Yeah, we're not going to go super
It's
into
always
that.
something I want to dive into, but I'll pass today.
My dissertation, or one of my university projects was based on Hymenoptera, and their social interactions are very, very interesting. And it falls under a category of something that we would call eusociality, which is like EU sociality, which means like basically like a truly social organization, and that's what we would consider humans to be, and certainly wasps and ants and bees and things that live in colonies like that. It's defined by cooperative brood care, so care of the offspring, as well as a group of living adults that has multiple generations in it. So multiple generations of adults live in the same place. And finally, like a division of labor, which is obviously like, it's a big one when you think of colonial Hymenoptera insects like ants and bees and wasps and stuff like that, because they have loads of different types of workers and soldiers and all that kind of thing. People know about that. So eusociality is a very like advanced form of social interaction.
Communism.
Yeah. Well, let's not make friends in theory too political, but it certainly is a very interesting thing, because eusociality is obviously a very effective evolutionary method of surviving, as we can see in ants and things like that.
Ants exist, therefore...
Yeah, and they're very, very successful as well.
Therefore, communism works. Sorry, I'll let that go now. I won't do that again.
Well, I mean, it's not as if like all of the different types of ants are equal anyway, but that's not controversial.
Preach.
Don't snap your fingers. So yeah,
let's get out of here. Quick, go.
So that's an interesting. I mean, that's basically my topic. Like the distinction between eusociality and lesser forms of social interaction is quite an interesting one. And like you said before, people would think of chimps and monkeys generally. They often live in very big groups with complex social interactions. I'm sure lots of people have seen video of monkeys grooming each other and things like that, which form bonds. And even earlier on, like you were talking about sex forming a closer bond between two people. There are
chimps have sex.
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of ways in which creatures form seemingly, close relationships with other members of the species. And has it emerged because it actually helps you survive better? And even if that is the case, is it still around because of that, or because of something else? A
lot of people seem to think that we've become so social that we've moved on completely beyond any sort of genetic basis for anything. I do not believe we've come that far. We're definitely at a point where we can actively contend it, but there's still a lot that's basically hardwired into us.
We can definitely have a very significant effect on our own social interactions, and like in terms of evolution, the technology that we have allows us to kind of avoid lots of the survival threats that would drive evolution. So, but at this point, our species is so integrated, so reliant on social interactions that where will it go from there? It is quite interesting to see its roots in evolutionary ecology, if you like. Like I was saying before, generally organisms with a bigger brain can hold more sort of active relationships at a time, and there seems to be like a sweet spot of social interaction which gives you like the best benefit in terms of bond growth for like the least effort, I guess.
Right.
Which like it's been a while since I was learning
How
about
to Make
this,
Friends with Minimal Effort, a guide by Zach Baruch.
Yeah, and we can see it in monkeys and stuff like that. An interesting thing to look for is if you're at a party or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if you're like us, then you'll be standing by yourself in the corner.
Speak for yourself, Zach.
So what you should do is look around the room, and probably what you'll see is that the average size of conversation groups is 3 people. And that seems to be like the sweet spot in terms of how much you can actually engage and like bond with people.
I mean, don't do that, because that's not what parties are for. If you're just going to a party to count how big the social groups are.
I mean, don't do it all night, but maybe
if you want to make a couple of observations, you should always have a notepad on hand.
You're walking over to the punch bowl.
Yeah.
You get yourself some punch. You turn around. You take a moment.
Bowl.
You have a look around. It's interesting.
No, that is it's crazy. There is an optimal way to make friends.
So there you go. Friendship is magical and scientific, and based in our evolutionary history, probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
So communism will win.
Sure, why not? With no disrespect to the end. High and low. Right, so a few other things from the week, I guess. Speaking of friendship, how do you like this one?
I don't.
Parrots.
Oh.
Okay, well, let me finish. I mean, that wasn't the whole thing. Parrots find laughter contagious and high five in midair.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just imagining like a bunch of parrots wearing like sideways caps and like baggy trousers, doing skateboard flips and stuff.
I was imagining more of, like a High School Musical where you'll jump at the end and high five. But of course,
like a freeze
parrots
frame.
can fly. They are not confined to the ground like us ground land walkers.
So, according to someone called, I think, Raoul Schwing, of the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna.
Okay.
He was saying that parrots apparently soar after each other in sort of aerobatic displays and loop-de-loops and stuff. And as they do so, they exchange high fives with their feet. They sort of kick at each other, and they toss objects to each other in what seems to be, and this is the interesting thing, like an emotionally contagious behavior. So like how when people are laughing around you, usually like you start laughing as well, even if like you have no idea what's going on. Yeah, I mean, obviously people might think of parrots as like very playful animals anyway.
Yeah, there's always that
birds.
thing about parrots being able to listen, learn, and repeat language. A lot of birds are really intelligent, but parrots are particularly noted for their social ability with humans.
Yeah. And like this behavior was linked with a special like kind of warbling call that triggered this sort of spontaneous behavior. So basically they did this study where they got some recordings of like canned laughter from parrots and just played it. And yeah, these parrots started sort of
Big Bang Theory
joining in with the call and started
parrots.
playing. Yeah, I mean, but like it's probably better than
It's
the
actually
Big Bang
funny.
Theory,
That's the
yeah.
twist. Ha ha. Put some canned laughter in here.
Yeah, let's do it. So there you go. And it was adults and younglings.
Mm-hmm.
So playing about and laughing is all good.
High five each other. Learn to fly. Zach,
do it.
have you ever wondered why water splashes? Serious question.
All the time. Literally cannot.
I know.
sleep
I get up in the morning. I turn the sink on. I'm just like,
that.
why is it splashing? Why doesn't it just flow in a continuous form? Well. You may be pleased to know that there is a new theory on why and how water splashes, and this is another section which I am now going to start calling things I never considered.
Yeah, I suppose when you think about it, like actually why, but I've never thought about it.
Why
before.
don't we just stick together and pour all over the place? You've always got that argument of it's like the physics forcing the water is strong enough to break the bonds between the water molecules. But then, like, why would like a single drop of water splash? Why does it splash like every goddamn time?
Right. Yeah.
So, this was a publication from the Mathematics Institute, which again sounds generic, is a defined place.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, at the University of Warwick. So, the new theory suggests that a microscopic layer of air, 1 micron thin, 50 times thinner than a human hair, that gets trapped on the surface prevents the water spreading on the surface. So it has to almost like a shield. It gets trapped.
Right. Okay.
So it can't.
So every time water comes in contact with the surface, it just sort of is blocked.
Kinda, yeah. It's a really weird one, honestly. Because I'm just imagining in my head what water would be like if it didn't splash. It just says, "Hey, I'm water. Hey, you're water too. Let's just merge. Seamless." Whoop.
Yeah.
There we go.
Sort of.
But apparently it is air. So I wonder if that means if you dropped water in a vacuum, would it splash? That's some follow-up research. If you conduct that research, please let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, we'd like to know.
Mm-hmm. They
like, comment,
they
subscribe.
Yeah, to my YouTube channel. What they compared it to was they were saying it's like 1 centimeter of air trapped on a beach to make a tsunami wave splash instead of just spreading along a beach. Which I don't actually think is a very helpful metaphor because a tsunami is not like a drop of water, but that's the one they drew. I've got a little quote here. Understanding the conditions that cause splashing enables researchers to find out how to prevent it, leading to potential breakthroughs in various fields.
I mean, I guess you could save a lot of wasted energy if you could figure out how to make water not splash.
And it might have an effect on transfers of specific things in waters. But I love this idea of scientists just why does this water keep splashing? I'm so angry.
Yeah, I mean, this is the life
How can
of
we
science.
stop this?
Yeah, the life of a scientist.
So Zach, can you tell me something that's making a splash recently?
Something that's making a splash.
It's not water.
Well, I'll tell you what. Someone called Kirby Runyon, that's probably a horrible pronunciation, sorry, from the Johns Hopkins University has been trying to make Pluto great again.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think the communism
like
jokes were okay, but that might have gone... We might
far,
draw some hate from that.
Mapper. So yeah, this person...
It would... no, whatever. Would it be Mpa? Make America Pluto again. Mpa. Go. Sorry. No, it would be Mupga. God, this is the worst.
It's not catchy.
Go. It's already dead.
Yeah. So he or she, actually, I don't really know. Wants to get people to call Pluto a planet again. He wants to make Pluto a planet again, along with Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, Luna, our very own moon, and over 100 other bodies in our solar system.
That's not going to make nearly as good a poster.
Yeah. So, solar system, the little rhyme, it will have to be like 150 words long.
No, more than that.
Yeah. What even is it? Like, I can't remember. He wants to define planets as this: a substellar mass body that has never undergone nuclear fusion. So it basically just make loads and loads of things planets.
Okay, but
and I guess the reason for
things
doing
like
this,
asteroids and comets.
Yeah, I guess that it would be to sort of make people think about these things more, because like people don't really care about anything unless it's a planet or a moon, I guess.
Yeah, the amount of time I've brought up Europa and somebody's gone, who cares? Tell me about Jupiter.
Yeah.
It's...
Like, I used to get bullied by the Planet Gang.
Yeah.
I was always trying to teach them about moons and stuff.
Yeah, Captain Planet is just the worst.
Yeah.
He's such a planet snob.
So yeah, maybe all of these things should be planets again. Personally, it's kind of dumb and they shouldn't, because what's the point? Why not just call them something else and continue to study them?
Yeah, well, it's just a label, isn't it, for things that have essentially very little in common.
Yeah.
And like the current working definition we had came out in 2006, and that was basically just to get rid of Pluto. But that's based on like size, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that was based on size. So the new definition would be based
and stuff.
Yeah, it would be based more on like its intrinsic features, I guess, rather than its size specifically.
Yeah, and really, this is again, we're just trying to stop celestial body shaming. You can be a planet no matter your size, as long as you haven't exploded. I mean,
like everything that we do in astronomy, and even in like pretty much every area of science, is defined based on its size. So I don't know.
We need to end that.
End the hate.
We need to end the hate.
Who knows? But yeah, there you go.
I know.
What else has been going on?
I know someone that everybody loves.
Yeah?
There is no hate for David Attenborough.
That is very true. That is very true. No one could hate him.
That's a very good segue. So, the universities of Oxford, Leicester, Yale, and Imperial College London have they found a new fossil. It's about a centimetre long, less than a centimetre, and it's a tiny crustacean. Yeah. And they decided to name it after David Attenborough in a roundabout way. They didn't just call it, this is David Attenborough, the small shrimp.
It's Dave.
Here he is. No, it's called Cascolus revitis, which I probably butchered.
Right.
Because, no one's... I nearly said no one speaks Latin, but that's not true either. Moving on. So, Cascolus is apparently a Latin Old English translation of Attenborough, and Ravitus is Roman for Leicester. So it's really called Attenborough Leicester.
Right. Okay.
Which is a good a name as any, I suppose.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Zach, have you ever had something named after you?
Only unspeakable things. that cannot be brought up on this podcast.
I've had a bowling technique named after me. It's not
Really?
widespread. It's called the Batstone Special. It's when you only throw strikes or gutters.
Nice. Can you do both at the same time, or
on a very special occasion? That's a trick shot. But no, that's
shot.
you just throw it as hard as you can, basically. So
yeah.
So David Attenborough said on it, the biggest compliment that a biologist or paleontologist can pay to one another is to name a fossil in his honor, and I take this as a very great compliment.
Yeah, I think it is one of those things that like probably every paleontologist dreams of, to have a fossil named after them.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though, it's not the first one.
I can imagine it wouldn't be. What else is he named for?
A pygmy grasshopper species in the Dominican Republic called Electrotetics attenboroughi.
Yeah,
Attenboroughi. That's difficult to say. A long-beaked echidna in New Guinea called Zyglosis attenboroughi.
That's an awesome one.
Attenboroughi.
That's an awesome one. Yeah.
I'm going to trip over this every goddamn time, and literally they've basically all got the same name. You start to say a rare butterfly species in Colombia and Brazil called Euoptichia attenboroughi.
Yep.
A flightless weevil from Indonesia, Trigonopterus attenboroughi. A species of wildflower called Attenborough hawkweed in the Bracken Beacons.
Right.
And Plesiosaur attenborosaurus conibere.
Nice. Well,
I tried.
Yeah.
Which is, a type of sea reptile, which lived millions of years ago. Maybe with the dinosaurs.
Yeah. Wow.
So he's done a lot. He's a great guy, and
he's a good guy.
Really looking forward to his new series.
Yeah.
The sequel to Blue Planet. I think it's called David Attenborough's Wet and Wild.
Yeah, that'll be good. Maybe we'll get him on as a guest. You never know.
Yeah, that'd be pretty tight, honestly.
Who knows what could happen next week.
Well, I mean, if we don't get destroyed by a black hole, then maybe we'll get him on.
Yeah. True. Right, well, are we about done? I think.
Yeah, I've got another really good headline here, which if you search,
Let's hear it.
You might either really like it or really, really feel uncomfortable. Heart tissue grown on spinach leaves. Let that sink in.
I don't want it to sink anywhere.
Exactly. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. I've been Peter Batstone.
Thank you very much. I'm Zach Baru.
The music that you've heard throughout and will see us out is the song "And" by Tally Hall from their album Good and Evil. Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah. Ding-a-ling-a-ling, last call. Get your podcast.
Bye. Leave your comments now or hold your peace.
Yeah. Shut it down, boys.
Big bad Betty of the apocalypse. She opens her lips and it goes like this.